Okay, so for today's video, we're going to be doing a walkthrough of the iPad Air 5 M1 from Apple. It just came out this week, and I'm going to show you guys a lot of use cases that you can get out of an iPad like this. I'm going to do a demo of gaming, photo editing, all the things, and I got my iPad in a nice, beautiful blue color. Looks really nice and shiny in the camera here. And if you ever are debating what iPad color you should buy, I really think you should just go into the store and just look at all the colors and decide for yourself. I do have an iPad Air 4 in space gray. They're pretty much identical, like you cannot really tell the difference in terms of design. So if you're debating between blue or space gray, here is kind of a color demo live for you in this video. The space gray should more or less be the same. This is on an iPad mini. This is what that starlight color looks like. If you are wondering in terms of color options, the colorways should be very, very similar for the iPad Air. Okay, so let's dive into some use cases with this iPad. So the first one, primarily for a lot of people, is gonna be using it as a consumption device. So literally going into YouTube and playing a video, I'll play one of my videos here. Let's go to, I don't know, this desk setup here. It's a brand new year, and I finally had the time to create 2 new works. So I'll just lower the volume there. But as you can see, I'm holding the iPad and watching a video like this. It feels good. I don't, this is light, it's easy in the hand. You can also rotate the iPad, and now you can hold it in a landscape mode, which I find to be more comfortable. And voila, we have our sort of portable viewing experience in our hand. This is sort of what it's gonna look like for you if you plan to watch any videos on YouTube, Netflix, all the things. Okay, so another thing I wanna demo now is the speakers. Here is a demo with some music here. Okay, so I think the speakers sound good. They're like nice and loud, but something that's really strange about them is that there's 4 speaker grills on this iPad, so 2 on the top and 2 on the bottom, but only the one by the power button here, as well as the one right there. Those are actually the only speakers that act like the speaker grills that have speakers built into them. The other speaker grills on this iPad don't have any speakers actually firing anything. So when you hold your iPad in portrait mode and you're listening to music, a lot of reviewers don't talk about this, but the iPad Air almost sounds like it has audio only on one side of your ear. It's not a big deal, especially when you have it in portrait mode not portrait mode, when you have it in landscape mode and you're listening to audio. Then you have 2 speakers firing one way and then the other way, so it sounds okay. But the second you put this thing back into landscape and you're listening to audio, I'm not a fan. And that's where the iPad Pro would come in, because the iPad Pro has 4 speakers. So holding it in portrait mode, you do still get that true stereo effect. Okay, so the next thing I want to show you guys is note-taking on the iPad. The app of choice for me is always Notability. That's sort of the one that I have been using for almost a year now, ever since I bought the original iPad Air 4. And for my specific use case, the reason why I use Notability is to actually make adjustments to the scripts that I make. So for example, if I pull up my M1 MacBook Air versus M1 Pro MacBook Pro script, this is an old video that I made, you can see I doodle in Notability a lot of things that I want to highlight or check off for specific B-roll and certain sequences I want to do in my video. That's sort of the primary use case for me, and it's very easy to draw on the iPad, as you can see. You can make any kind of squiggles here. There's highlighters. As you can see, you can highlight specific points. You can erase as well in Notability. And what I'll do, actually, I'll bring up a blank note. So, you know, if I wanted to write my name, I wanted to change the color to, I don't know, purple. We have purple, and I can do my name in cursive. You know, this 60 hertz panel, again, yes, this is a 60 hertz panel, not a 120 hertz panel, and it still feels smooth. Like, writing on here does not feel bad at all, even at 60 hertz. I know a lot of people are saying that, you know, 120 feels better, and yes, it does, but that doesn't make 60 hertz feel terrible. I'm still a big fan of how it feels taking notes. So you can use this for school or whatever use case really you want to apply. My case, I doodle over my scripts so I can plan out my videos more. This is actually a really in-depth doodle here of a lot of the notes that I put into this app. One of my favorite apps on iPad, hands down. So the next thing I want to show you guys is web browsing on the iPad Air. So we're just going to open up Safari on the bottom corner there, and let's go to apple.ca. So there you go. Very simple. You actually get an almost full web browsing experience on the iPad. It feels smooth and fluid. You actually have the ability to open up multiple tabs. It has a very familiar look. If you ever use Safari on a traditional computer, you get still the array of tabs like you would on a laptop or a desktop, which I really like. And if you wanted to web browse just with the fingers, like if you wanted to type just with your fingers, it feels okay. Like if I go to Google, if I type google.ca, you can do it. If I type, I don't know, let's say I type youtube.com, you can do it, but you do sort of have to like torque your hand and tilt the iPad a bit. You can also do this in landscape, which I actually think is, it feels easier to hold, but to actually type in landscape, it's like to type the phrase New York Times, it's a little much, right? I'm personally not a fan of using the on-screen keyboard on the iPad Air. I find it to be too big. So if you do want to do a lot of on-screen typing, something like the iPad mini would be a lot easier because you have the ability to have both your thumbs reach both sides very easily. It's super easy to type. And then if you want to do landscape as well, just get it to landscape, this still works very well as well. One thing I will say though is that if you're gonna buy an iPad Air, if you're planning on buying one, the accessories are what really make the iPad experience. Definitely budget for the Apple Pencil. It does have Apple Pencil 2 support, as you've already seen in this video. This is like the best accessory, hands down, for an iPad. But the real killer for the iPad Air is the ability for it to support the Magic Keyboard. So I have the black one here. I've had it for over a year now. This is an amazing keyboard experience. Something that you just cannot get anywhere else, in terms of like the premium nature of it. It just works. You just slap on your iPad on here. I can go into Safari. Now I can very easily type to anything that I want to go to. It actually feels really good. Like when I compare it to my MacBook Pro, that typing experience to me is still very comparable. Like I don't miss typing on a MacBook Pro, even though I'm going back to the iPad Air with the Magic Keyboard. It still is a very comparable experience. If I go into Grammarly here, which is actually another use case when it comes to the iPad Air for me, is using it as sort of like a script maker or word processing. So I would do a lot of script making and typing and making documents with this keyboard with the iPad. On Grammarly here, I can show you. I'm just in Grammarly on the iPad there, and then just being able to type feels amazing. You can even hear it right now probably. So I'm gonna type, my name is Taryn, and this is a video that I am making for all of you guys watching, in capital letters. Very easy to type. Seriously, no boost. Love that. Quick and easy. That's the Magic Keyboard experience. You get a trackpad as well. So you do get a lot of those gestures where you can kind of swipe, so sort of like you would on a MacBook. You can, through 3 fingers, swipe up to kind of get out of the app. And then you can also do a 3-finger swipe up, hold, and then you get access to an array of iPad apps you have open in the background. And the one thing that I really love with the iPad Air is the fact that it has the M1 chip. So this is like buttery smooth. You can have a ton of suspended apps in the background. I can go between Lightroom and then go back to YouTube and then go back to a game that I was playing. And literally no issues, just going between Apple News there, super smooth. And you can do that all with the Magic Keyboard and very quickly because of that M1 chip. So the next thing we're gonna dive into now is gaming. We're gonna use the PlayStation 5 controller. I'm gonna demo one game on the iPad for you. And to be honest with you, I don't do a lot of gaming. This isn't really my forte. I primarily use my iPad for work and consumption, but I know a lot of you watching might wanna use it for gaming. So I'm gonna demo Modern Combat, I believe is what it's called. Let me take a look here. Is this one? Yes, controller connected. So I actually have this game in the background. We're gonna lower the volume just a little bit. I don't wanna kill your guys' ear here. And look at the center. Oh boy. But yeah, this is me playing. This is Modern Combat for the iPad Air. Graphics look pretty good. Like it's an iPad. The M1 chip, it's just blazing through this game. Literally no lag at all when I'm playing. So, and it's fun, you know. Oh, there we go. Oh boy. Who is firing at me? I'm like blind. Oh, what the heck? Clearly I'm stuck at this game. Boom. Pistol. Go back to my assault rifle. Boom, just decimating these guys. Can I melee? Pick up one of their, ooh. Got a cool little gun there. Okay, so that was a demo of Modern Combat for the iPad Air. Now I wanted to show you Rayman. Look how quick the M1 works. I just swiped out of that game, opened up Rayman, very quick. Again, thanks to M1. I'm gonna go ahead and accept. And you know, that's really what I kind of want to demo to you guys here as well, is just the M1 chip. It's just super fluid on the iPad. It's almost overkill, but you know, I'm not complaining, you know. Load times are great. Look at that. Within a few seconds, we're in another game. Very easy. And this is a pretty popular game on iPad as well. The graphics look great. These developers do a pretty good job, to be honest with you. Woo. Okay, I'm actually very surprised by how good these graphics are. I'm like pretty stunned. Like, this looks great. And then you can also hold the iPad as well. If you didn't want to have it flat on the ground like how I have it, holding it to play games, it's not bad. It's not heavy. It's still pretty light. But I will say I could see you getting hand fatigue from holding it for a while. That's just my 2 cents. I don't know for sure. I haven't gamed on this for like 8 hours straight. But an iPad that I have gamed for like a couple hours straight on has been the iPad mini. It is, guys, this thing is just, it is so light. So if you are looking at wanting to get like a pure gaming device and you wanted it to be an iPad for your use case, iPad mini, man. I would strongly consider getting this thing. Anyway, this is about the iPad Air 5. But you know, I'm just trying to educate you guys. I don't want you guys to make the wrong buying decision. But anyways, that's Rayman for you on iPad Air 5. Okay, so another thing I want to demo to you as well is Touch ID for the iPad Air 5. So the Touch ID sensor is going to be on the power button. I just want to show you the speed here. So I'm going to tap the iPad to wake, finger on the power button. That's pretty much the speed of Touch ID. Put it in a horizontal orientation or landscape. There you go. It's quick. I wouldn't say it's instant like Face ID, but it gets the job done. I wanted to show you quickly photo editing. So I actually do a lot of photo editing on my iPads. I've done it on my iPad Air 4. I've done it on my iPad mini. I just love doing photo editing on iPads versus doing it on a computer. If I'm gonna open up Lightroom. So Lightroom is primarily the tool that I use to edit all of my photos, specifically thumbnails for the YouTube channel. And you can do a lot in this. So for example, if I pull up, let's do this Xbox one. This was the final edit right here for one of my Xbox thumbnails. But within Lightroom, if I hold down my thumb here or my finger on the picture, that was the old photo. Edit, raw photo, untouched, raw colors, final edit. So I did all of that on an iPad, and you can do that on the iPad Air 5 or iPad Air 5. And you know, there's a lot of presets and different ways you can adjust your photos to your liking. I'm not gonna do a deep dive of actually editing a photo for you guys, but just to show you why I like it so much is you have the Apple Pencil and you just have the capacity to touch and adjust to your liking. I know it sounds super cliche, but you know, the capacity to be able to kind of touch and adjust your photos like with a pencil, you just sort of feel like an artist. You know, I don't know how to put it into words. Like, yes, I can do these photo editings and whatnot on this beautiful MacBook Pro with a liquid retina XDR display, 1080, not 1080p, but 120 hertz HDR, P3 color. Like in this beautiful display, I could do that on a keyboard and a trackpad. But doing it on an iPad with the Apple Pencil, it's a different beast, man. It's a different beast, and I love using Lightroom. Okay, so another thing I want to show you on the new iPad Air 5 is the faster transfer speeds thanks to that upgraded USB-C port and that new M1 chip. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna grab this Samsung T5 SSD, and we are going to do a transfer into the iPad. So we're just gonna go ahead and plug in this cable here. And now that that's plugged in, we're gonna go to the Files tab. Press there, we have an Edit Backup. We have a video file there, so we're gonna hold down. We're going to hit Move, and we're gonna move that just onto the iPad. We're gonna hit Copy. So now let's see how fast that's gonna be. It's a 6.56 gigabyte file. Okay, so that was about a minute. Not bad, I mean, much faster on a MacBook, but that was okay. You know, that was just one test. And so now that that file has been transferred, we're gonna unplug this, and I'm now going to show you video editing on the iPad. So a very popular video editing app is Luma Fusion. I have it installed on this device here. And you know, if you're looking to take your iPad experience to a pro type of experience and you're a content creator, you can do a lot on Luma Fusion. So what I'm gonna just show you very quickly is we're gonna import a file. We're gonna go click here and hit import media. We're gonna do it from the Files app. There we go. So we got the whole timeline here with this video file. We're gonna bring it all back to the beginning. So now this is me unboxing my iPad Air for the first time, and it's shot in 4K, and there's no dropped frames at all. Like, this looks great, and put it in landscape mode. You know, you can very easily scrub, hit play. It's go to the part where you actually open up the iPad here. Playing back 4K video, no problem. No lag. Not bad at all. And you can double tap to go in and out of the view. Just look how smooth that is. And if I pause, you know, you can scrub through this timeline pretty easily, right? Like it's pretty good. Like this is top notch. So if you're looking at wanting to use your iPad as a video editing machine and you wanted to settle with an iPad Air, Luma Fusion with the iPad Air would not be a bad choice at all. Another thing that I actually forgot about is the new cameras on the iPad Air 5. So we now have center stage built in, so I'm just gonna go ahead and open up. So this is center stage on the iPad. So the idea is that it's gonna follow you around. If I move back as well, the camera should, in theory, wanna keep zooming out and follow me no matter where I go. I wonder how far. Oh wow, I'm like really off to the angle here. If I go down, will it? Oh yeah, see, so it works pretty well. It's a little gimmicky. It can be nauseating for the person that's watching you if you're always like moving, I find, but that's center stage for you, for anybody that wanted to see that. And to keep the tone of cameras going, I want to show you the iPad Air camera. If I press that on, I'm just going to show you what the front facing looks like. I'm going to go ahead and take a picture and then just show it to you guys. It's, wow, just smile here. So this is actually a pretty wide shot. Holy smokes. This thing can get pretty wide. And I'll also show you, I'm gonna take a picture at my balcony and I'm gonna throw it on screen for you. Holy smokes, man. I live in Canada right now and it's freezing on my balcony. But I got that picture there. Just took a picture of my view of downtown Toronto, and I'll throw a much bigger image on screen for you to see. So cameras on the iPad Air 5, like they're there and they work, and I think they're actually pretty decent. So if you're looking to take photos with your iPad, I don't think you're gonna be disappointed using it on this device here. And the last thing I wanted to show you guys, or just very briefly talk about, is that I bought the 5G model. So I think the power of having an iPad Air is going to be getting the Magic Keyboard and getting the 5G model and getting data. Right now, with like a MacBook laptop, there's no way for you, at least in Canada, to get data on your laptop device. You have to use public Wi-Fi or use a hotspot off of your iPhone. I'm not a fan of doing that because it drains the battery, so I'm very, very excited to have 5G built into this iPad. So I'm gonna have a really unparalleled mobile working experience. I'm always connected to the internet now with this iPad. I can check my emails, respond to brands, and respond to you guys, and just do a lot of things. And also watch YouTube videos on my lunch at work, and not have to be at the crutch, I guess, or at the mercy of slow public Wi-Fi. And I can also avoid draining my iPhone battery as well. But we're gonna cover more of that in the actual review of this iPad. I just really wanted to focus this video more on what you can do with it. I wanted to demo it for you guys who are looking to buy one. So that's the iPad Air 5 for you guys. That's the walkthrough. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Are you guys planning on buying one? If you made it to the end of the video, make sure to comment hashtag iPad Air 5 so I know you finished the video. The real ones made it to the very end. Drop a like. Subscribe if you're brand new to my channel. iPad Air 5 review on the way. I can't speak. On the way. There's an iPad Air 5 review on the way, as well as talking more about 5G connectivity. We're also going to do some comparisons to the iPad mini, as well as comparing this iPad to a MacBook laptop. So anyways, don't want to miss any of that. I'll catch all of you guys in the next video. Peace.